we are to do our World of Warcraft, Cupid Denley, JuJuBe collaboration rundown of all those characters that we have seen on this print. I have my husband Sean here because he is the avid gamer. Both he and I have played World of Warcraft since it was released, but he is probably more loyal to the game than me. He's continuously played the entire, how many years now?
6.
6 years? No, more than that.
Actually, more than that.
Like 13, because it was before our son was born. So what I'm going to do today, we're going to go through each of the characters that are on the print, and Sean here is going to give you a rundown of who they are, what faction they belong to, and a very, very brief history, right?
Yeah, very brief.
It's very, very easy to really get into the lore of this game. So the first one we have is Sylvanas Windrunner. Now I'm going to put show you what she looks like on the print as well as in the game, because there is a bit of a difference. Go ahead, Sean, take over. What can you tell us about Sylvanas?
Sylvanas Windrunner is the leader of the Forsaken. So she was a Night Elf Ranger who was killed in the war against the Scourge, and she was enslaved to the Lich King, initially won her freedom, and then when the Lich King died, she took control of his undead army and the Valkyries. Okay, so she's
now
the leader of the Horde.
Yeah, she's a leader of the Horde. It says on the little, I've got a little cheat sheet here which I will include also up there to show you guys. But I guess what they've said here is that she's a Dark Ranger, undead Night Elf, and Queen of the Forsaken. So yeah, so she's a pretty cool character. I actually really like any of the stories with Sylvanas. She's kind of one of those. She's not really evil. She's not really.
She wants. She just wants to survive, basically. Yeah. She wants the Forsaken to survive.
Who are the Forsaken?
So the Forsaken are they're undead that have gained their freedom of will, so they're not a slave to the Lich King anymore.
Okay, all right. So that's Sylvanas. Now we'll go down on the list. We've got VOL'JIN, and he's a troll, so he's kind of interesting too. He's also of the Horde. So as I mentioned in my other video, if you saw the unboxing, there are basically two factions in World of Warcraft. There's the Alliance and the Horde. So the Alliance, as I said before, are kind of like the more goody side, right? So you've got like the humans and the night elves and gnomes and things like that. So VOL'JIN is part of the Horde, but how is he related in the game?
So he's the leader of the Darkspear trolls, and he eventually became leader of the Hordes. There was an orc that took over the Horde, and he tried to wipe out the Alliance and the humans, and he was eventually killed. And as part of the truce between the Alliance and the Horde, VOL'JIN was allowed to become leader of the Horde because he has a more moderate view than some of the past warlords.
Okay, so that was VOL'JIN. Alrighty, and then next we've got THRALL, son of DUROTAN. Now THRALL is the orc. He's here, so he's the green guy with the hammer. If anybody's not sure who I'm talking about, he's actually pretty cool too. I really like the storyline for him. So he's a shaman and a war chief of the Horde as well. So he was before VOL'JIN, wasn't he? He was like the first.
Yeah, so he was the first kind of real war chief of the Horde because kind of in the lore, a portal was open and the orcs came through to the planet called Azeroth from another planet called Draenor, and they were defeated by the Alliance, and they were basically leaderless until THRALL stood up and he united them, and he settled in a continent called Durotan, named after his father, DUROTAN, and then he was leader of the Horde for many, many, many years until he handed it over to Garrosh Hellscream.
Oh, which he was a bad guy, right?
Which he was the guy that started the war with the Alliance to try to wipe them out, and then he was eventually killed. And then
now there is a movie, World of Warcraft, a live action movie, and wasn't he in that? Or was he the baby in that?
No, THRALL was the baby in that.
THRALL was the baby in that. Okay, yeah, that's a really good movie actually. I'll put the link for the trailer in the description. It didn't get a lot of good reviews, but for World of Warcraft players, I thought it was good.
That was good.
Very entertaining. All right, next one we got is Chen Storstout. Now he's the panda that everybody loves, and he's kind of a funny little character. He kind of pops up from the very beginning of the game, right? So he's the guy on there. So what's the story with him?
Well, so with him, so Pandaria, which is where he was from, was shrouded in mist and hidden from the world because of the artifacts that were on it.
Okay. And
his family owned a brewery.
Yeah.
And he basically set out from Pandaria to explore the world. So since the game first came out in like 2006,
yeah.
You will have run into Chen Storstout as an NPC.
Yeah.
So a non-playable character.
Yeah. He's kind of funny. I remember him having some funny lines. And he makes the quest kind of entertaining, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think they just put him on there because he's everybody probably knows him from playing the game, and yeah, he's pretty entertaining. Then we got the Lich King, which I think it's really funny how they've just portrayed the Lich King. He looks really like stout. He's the guy with the sword.
Lich King, also known as Arthas Menethil, an army of undead came to invade the country that he was heir to, and so he set out to defeat the undead army, and on that quest he came across a sword called Frostmourne, which is the sword in the which is a sword that he's carrying, and it was imbued with a demonic presence, and that demonic presence corrupted him, and then he became one with the demon and the sword and became the Lich King, and then the leader of the
wasn't he someone's son? Wasn't he like the leader of the Alliance's son?
So Lordaeron was one of the major kingdoms on the Alliance before the Alliance was formed, or when the Alliance was formed.
Yeah.
And he was heir to that, but after he was corrupted by the demon in the sword, he killed his father and used his now undead army to lay waste to
it's kind of a sad
Lordaeron
story, actually. Alright, so now we're going to go over to Wryn, which some people have said that he kind of reminds them of a Justin Bieber take. Which I think the way that they've depicted him on the print as him with the blonde hair, I can see how they would think that. So he is Alliance, warrior, human, King of Stormwind. So is there anything much to know about him? Or he pops up, I remember, in the game.
So he's the King of Stormwind, he's the leader of the Alliance. He initially had a large hatred for the Horde and the Orcs and the Trolls. And throughout everything that's happened in the game was forced to work with them, and then he kind of came to the conclusion that the only way to defeat the demonic army called the Legion was to join with the Horde, and he eventually lost his life holding back a demonic army and allowing both Horde and the Alliance to escape.
Is that clip that you see of him falling off the...
Yeah.
Oh. Can we get a clip of that? Okay, well, we'll put a clip down in the description. It's like they've got little cinematic clips of the game, which are really cool, actually. So I'll put that down in the description if I can find it. Now, next one is TYRANDE Whisperwind. Now, she's a very popular one on the print because she's just pretty looking. So she's a night elf right here, and this is her FROSTSABER Ashla. Yeah, so she's a mount. So in the game, you can actually ride the FROSTSABERs. They're huge. I know it looks small in the print. No, not this one. This one's just like looks like a kitten. But in the game, it's pretty cool. You can actually ride them.
Tiger.
They're mounts. Yeah, it's a white tiger. So what's her deal? I don't remember her much, actually.
It's a nice tiger.
It is a nice tiger.
So she's the leader of the Night Elves. So she's
well, she says she's a priest.
Yeah, so she's multiple thousands of years old.
Wow. Okay, cool.
So
that's it. That's all there is really to know about her. All right. Well,
it's more complicated than that, but
yeah, that's enough, I guess. Now, Illidian Stormrage, he's the guy with the horns, and he's actually pretty cool, especially in the current expansion. I've seen some clips of him. So here's the one with the horns. That one, right there. So what's his deal? I think I remember you saying something about him being like he's a demon night elf hybrid, right? Okay.
Well, yeah. So he was a night elf. He's as old as TYRANDE was or is. But when the demons first invaded Azeroth,
which is one of the continents
which
in the
is
game.
well, it's the planet, one of the main planets in the game.
Okay.
He saw that the only way to defeat the demons was to use their power against them.
Okay.
So he took what's called the Fel, which is like the demonic energy that gives the demons power.
Okay.
And it mutated him into a half demon, half night elf.
Oh, okay.
And
I didn't know
then
that. He's a you come across him first as a raid boss, right? And then he's actually so raids are like you get. If you're not familiar with what that means, you get a whole bunch of players together and can be from all around the world or different, and you go and you basically fight different kind of groups of bad guys, and then you get to a major boss or a big bad guy at the end, for layman's terms, I suppose. And and they drop certain items that you may want for your character, or you get achievements for doing those things, or right? It's kind of like the very basic rundown of that one.
Yep.
All right, so next one, which is Murky, or the Murloc. Apparently Sean said Murky is he's like the kind of mascot for Blizzard for World of Warcraft, and that's
it was kind of Blizzard's tongue-in-cheek way to give back to the fan base, because Murlocs were
pains in the butt.
they were everybody loved to hate them.
Yeah.
So Blizzard kind of took a tongue-in-cheek path, and for BlizzCon, which is a major convention that Blizzard holds every year, part of the swag bag was this cute little Murloc.
Oh yeah.
And everybody fell in love with it. So then every year since then, he has been featured in the swag bag in some
That's
shape
cool.
or form. He's either a digital code for the game, so you get a Murloc that's in a funny suit, or you can dress in a Murloc suit, or you get like Murky, who can be like a pet in the game, and he has a little Blizzard flag that he waves around.
I don't know. All I remember is when we first started playing, they've kind of, put the difficulty down a lot when it comes to questing. But when you first started playing the game, when it first came out, and you go into Murloc where the Murlocs were, it was just hell, because they'd have a huge radius where they would attack you, and then they just kept chasing you. So you'd run out of Murlocs, and you'd run into bears, and then you ran into bears, and you ran into wolves, and it was just like you were constantly running away from stuff. It took forever to get anywhere. All right, now Deathwing, he's the dragon on here. So there's this one here, and there's a really cool trailer that I'll see if I can find the link for that too, that shows Deathwing and the Lich King together, right? And that's the trailer. Which expansion was that the trailer for?
Cataclysm.
Cataclysm, okay.
So yeah, Deathwing's dragon, part of Black Dragonflight, was supposed to have protected all life, but kind of over time became crazy and decided that the only way to protect all life and keep it from being corrupted was to destroy it. Yeah. And so he went on a crazy hellbent quest to destroy the world.
Yeah. So anyway, okay, so that's all the characters that are on this new print. So I hope that helped you guys somewhat understand what these characters mean to the World of Warcraft fan base, why they probably chose them to put on the bags and on the prints and stuff. So if you do have any questions, pop them down in the description box, and I will see if Sean can help me answer anything that you may have that you want to find out or you're curious about. So if you guys enjoyed that, and thanks for watching. Thank you, Sean, for helping out, because I don't know that much about it. All right, guys, have a great afternoon. See ya.
Bye.